Ancient Egypt. It's one of the biggest empires in history. You may be wondering how ancient Egypt became such a significant part of the ancient world, and it's because of its great architecture and also combat potential. The ancient Egyptians were one of the greatest in those specific areas. Oh no. Part 1. The troops that made up the army. Now, as I mentioned earlier, ancient Egypt was one of the most advanced in combat in the ancient world. But what comes to your mind when you think about combat? Blood? Death? Murder? Tobuscus? Well, today we're going to be talking about troops and weapons. And I'll mention weapons on later, but I'll be talking about troops right now. Now, unlike other armies, they all had a strong bond with each other. The commanders and troops treated each other equally. They even let women join the fight. Man, ancient Egypt didn't even let sexism get in their way. The main intentions were to spread and also defend their homeland, families, and people. The main armies were divided into certain divisions. The pharaoh/war pharaoh was at the back in his chariot, screaming out orders and positions to the two top-ranked experienced generals who controlled the upper and down divisions of the army. The army split into two, and it's the upper and down divisions, like I mentioned before, and each of them have an equal amount of troops, and they're mainly divided into three major subcategories: the infantry, the territory, and finally the navy. The war pharaoh's main duty was to defend the land of Egypt and make important decisions, and finally train the troops and making sure they're well prepared for the fight. And the pharaoh was always depicted as a glorious leader, bringing home hearts of dead enemies on ancient inscriptions, proving his power and worth to his people, making him gain a bit more respect. Part 2. The weapons. Headphone user warning. Now, moving on from the topic of troops, let's talk weapons. Now, as I mentioned earlier, before the specific groups, the infantry, the territory, and the navy, each of these groups used specific weapons dedicated to them. They started off with stone and wooden tools like these, and they used it to hit or throw it at people. Okay, as they weren't as developed back then, all the troops were infantry, which means they all moved on foot and used tools like what happened before. Around 4000 BC, they started to make more advanced tools, such as bows and different forms of arrows. During this period, they developed boats and traveled down the eastern Red Sea. The Egyptians also learned how to mine and discovered obsidian, a hard, sharp mineral. They attached obsidian to their bows, and they hurt a lot. And they changed the toolset of the infantry to have shields, bows, and swords. And they started to develop the navy side of the army. They eventually exchanged the obsidian arrows for copper arrows, then iron arrows. Ow, that really hurt! Anyways, as the year 1274 BC came by, the navy and the territory became fully developed, and they were ready to fight. The infantry ran headfirst in with their shields and compasses and bows, while the navy sailed from the side, throwing spears and blocking enemy projectiles. The territory followed behind them with longbows, shooting down enemies and winning the fight. Egyptians were always bloody and hectic, but because of their advanced technology, they always pulled through a battle and won by their advanced technology and weapons. Now let's take a look at the weapons individually. Now, you saw before the power of longbows used on me, and also the stone tools that I used on sashimi. Now, let's have a look at the others. We have a dagger. Wait a second, daggers don't exist in Minecraft. Help! Ah! Wait, there aren't any spears in Minecraft. I don't die this time! Ah! The ancient Egyptians used shields to block attacks from enemies. Ah! The ancient Egypt also used axes to destroy the armor of enemies and also to kill them. Ah! And that's pretty much for the weapons that the Egyptians used. Wait, do I hear hissing? No! Ah! Okay, that was really chaotic and hectic. Let's take a little break for now. Now, you may be wondering, how did all this information surface and is now all over the internet now? Simple, inscriptions. The ancient Egyptians were one of the only civilizations that documented almost everything. And the scribes are some of the people who documented everything. Well, they were the people who documented everything. They carved detailed symbols and drawings on the wall of temples and drew on the papyrus. The paper, not the character from Undertale. They wrote down information and had detailed drawings about the fight and chose specific weapons and the way the emperor and the generals and the troops fought and how the organization and the presentations and how the army currently fought. Now that's the end, and I hope you learned something new about ancient Egypt and their weapons and troops. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching. By the way, I'm sorry for not uploading in like 2 months, and I just want to say thank you guys so much on the support for my hardcore series. Thanks. Please give me marks. Hey, yeah, you on the black screen. Yeah, a large percentage of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed, so it'll be great if you could subscribe. I'm planning on releasing a content wave as soon as the school holidays comes. So peace and thank you guys so much for watching this.